Mo from MRight Trading. This is the second video in a video series introducing people to basic TradingView features. The date is Friday, December 6th. So let's get started. Specifically in this video, we're going to go over drawing tools. So let's select Tesla and launch the chart. And this is going to be on a logged out version of TradingView. The items in this right column, as I said in the previous video, we won't be covering because they're going to really utilize them, it's going to require having a logged in account. So we're going to leave those out. So we have the main chart and the volume. We are looking at, let's see, 1 day. Where the daily chart, meaning each of these bars represents 1 day. So today we're going to go over some of these basic tools. The ones in bold are the ones that are really important. Some of the other ones are important, but they're going to require a much deeper dive, so maybe we'll go over those later. But trend line, vertical line, date and price range, rectangle, path, and text are some really important ones. Those are tools that I use pretty regularly. So let's go back. We'll start with the cursor. You can use a cross, a dot, arrow, eraser. The cross is usually better because you have the horizontal and vertical lines in the cross to be able to select areas. And all you do is select or click on this box here, and then you can click any of the other ones. This one I don't use very much. I usually just stick with the cross, so we won't spend much time on it. This I do use a lot. This is probably the single most important tool on TradingView. It's in the trend line tools category, and it's the trend line. So with the trend line, you can draw a line from any point to any other point. So I'll start from here to here. And what I'm doing now is holding down the shift key, and that will lock it at 45-degree angles. Most importantly is that horizontal. And so I can create a line here. I can add text to it. So, hello there. I can put whatever text I want, and I can double click it. In order to double click it, you have to, let's see. Oh, there we go. We can still do it. Double click it, text, and then we can modify the text in here also. This I use a lot. Second to this is the, let's see, geometric shapes, and that is the rectangle. Rectangle is very important. So here you pick a starting point after you've selected rectangle from geometric shapes. And another thing to note is that once you select one of these items, it becomes the default icon in the left menu. So if I were to select something else like path, that will become the default icon. That way the next time I want to use it, I can just click on that instead of having to go into this drop down. So I'll go back to rectangle, and I can create a rectangle here. The reason why rectangles are so important is because you may want to create an area of interest, an area of support, meaning this is where you expect that price will not go beyond, or at least have some resistance to going beyond. And you can have a range, whereas the line will give you a very fine tool. The rectangle makes it a little more, gives you a little bit more cushion. These two together, I probably use more than any other tool. So it's important that you know how to use those two. So next to that, we will go over the fib retracement. So in this, let's see, 1, 2, 3, third box down, we have fib retracement. This is important or actually before I talk about why it's important, this is how you use it. You click any area, and then you can expand to an area below of significance or an area above of significance. The Fibonacci numbers are, the Fibonacci number is 1.618. If you take the reciprocal of that, 1 divided by 1.618, you get 0.618. If you square it or multiply it times itself, 1.618 times 1.618, you get 2.618. So those patterns, that 0.618 pattern tends to repeat itself in nature in a lot of places, in waves and water, and pine cones and trees and fingers. You see it everywhere, and it's no different with the stock market. And as I mentioned before, because we're using the logged out version, you will get timed out, and you simply have to refresh the screen. And the reason why I'm doing the demonstration in the logged out version is because you may want to just do a test of the chart without having to commit to giving up your email address. So let's reload the site. The problem is that once it does that, it resets all your drawings, which is a reason that you want to get an account. All right, so fib retracement. Let's go over that again. So let's take this top right here, and we'll go down to this bottom and then extend it out. And what you'll see is that in many cases, you'll see some important areas of support and resistance at the 0.618 number. And if you want to look at it from the flip side, 1 minus 0.618 is 0.382. So here we see Tesla hits 0.618 exactly, bounces back up, then breaks all the way below it, and then hits 0.382 exactly. Goes back up to 0.618 exactly, or very close to exactly, and then comes back down here. Then it goes halfway up before nearly reaching the top of the band again. So that's the use of a Fibonacci band, is if you want to project where something might go or see patterns for what has happened in the past. The Fibonacci channel is very useful for that. So let's squeeze this. Remember to make the chart narrower or to squeeze in more data, I'm doing a 2-finger slide up. You can use your scroll wheel if that's what you have on your device. Let's see. And next is the Fibonacci channel. All the other ones I don't use a lot, but Fib channel can be useful. I don't use this anymore. We have an indicator called the Magic Linear Regression channel that pretty much does everything I need to do here and does it much easier. But for the sake of teaching you the basic tools, this is how you use the Magic Linear Regression channel. So what I did was I clicked at the bottom here and the bottom here, and now I can create a channel by selecting the third point as horizontal. I'm sorry, vertical. Bam. So I selected here, then here, and then here. And just like before, now we have a pattern, or we can look for patterns where this may have bounced at significant areas corresponding to Fibonacci numbers. So let's get rid of, whoops, Control Z, because I accidentally deleted that. So let's delete that. So those are the trend line tools that I wanted to cover. Now there's forecasting and measurement tools. And this first one is long position. Long position allows you to select your start point. So let's say we were, this day just ended, and we wanted to get into the market, or we got into the market right at the end of the day. with the short position or a long position. Actually, since we're doing a long position first, let's try it right here. So let's say we get in at the end of the market with a long position. The red area below that forms, that is your risk area. That's the area you don't want the price to go. The green area is where you want the price to go. And as you can see right here, the closer you get to the top of this zone, the greener it gets. So if I increase this, you can see I hit my target about right here. Another thing that's important about this is that it gives you a way to measure your risk. So let's say I'm willing to risk this much in price change in order to gain this much. So I want more of a profit than I want in risk. And this will show you your risk reward ratio. So risk reward ratio here is 2 because this is 2 times as high as this red area down here. And the same thing applies if you wanted to take a short position. So I just double clicked on the right axis to get it to get the chart to reset, but looks like we have to reset it anyway because we had to refresh. Let's see, we're going back to short position. So let's say I wanted to take a short position, maybe right here. And set my risk at this much. And let's say I wanted a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, which would have been a big no-no. So here it's 2-to-1. And as you can see, as I move, I never actually get to that. In fact, I'll end up getting stopped out, meaning, bam, right there is where I lose my trade. I've had to spend my risk without actually getting the reward. But that's what these two tools are useful for, the long position and short position. Another tool that is really useful is the anchored volume weighted average price, or the anchored VWAP. What that does is it gives you the average price that has been paid for a particular equity or a stock starting at this point in time. So starting Monday, August 5th, the volume weighted average price is this. Fundamentally, what it means is that when the price is above that, that means that the people who bought at this point in time are in profit on average. And when the price is below this line, that means the people who bought at this time are now at a loss because they're below the volume weighted average price. And why this is important is because it can act as a support. So here we see, if we started at this point here, we see we drop back down to the volume weighted average price here, went up, dropped right back down to the volume weighted average price, then we gapped below it, gapped right back above it, and didn't see anything from it since. And the beautiful thing is that we can add a bunch of these. So let's take it from this gap. And here we have a volume weighted average price from November 6th. And here we see a point where it touched it perfectly. It came back, bounced up, and didn't look back. So that's the benefit of the volume weighted average price. So I'm going to Control Z to get rid of these drawings. And measurement tools. Let's see. We were looking at date and price range. There we go. So this is useful because it allows you to say, look at the distance from here to here. see how long it took and how far it went down. So I click once and then click twice. It tells me that's 4 bars had passed. Price went down 13.22% by the amount of $47.29 with a volume of 726.82 million shares traded. You can also do that, and again, that was, let's see, that was in here, which was our forecasting and measurement tools. And there's price range and date range that you could use separately, but date and price range usually does it for me. The good thing about that is that once you've done it, it'll stay on the screen, so you can do it as many times as you want. But if you didn't want it to stay on the screen, you can use this measurement tool. So you can create it, but as soon as you click someplace else, it disappears. So that's the beauty of that. So let's get rid of these. And we'll go over some of the geometric shapes, some more of the geometric shapes. There's brush and highlighter. So the brush allows you to draw diagrams. So if you wanted to just kind of freestyle an arrow or a curve or something, that's what that's for. The highlighter, same deal. So if you wanted to highlight an area of interest, that's what that's for. We also use the path tool, or I also use the path tool from time to time. So if I'm trying to project where something might go, I'll say, hey, maybe it'll go here, here, and here, and then I hit the escape key, and that closes off the path. Or maybe I think that's not the case, or maybe the alternate case, it goes here, here, then here. Oops, escape, and then that way I can use that to show a projection, or for whatever reason you want to use it. But the path tool is good for that, and that's in one of these geometric shapes. And before, let's see, annotation tools. A lot of the annotation tools are very similar. They just have different styles. So there's a text annotation tool where you can just type text anywhere. Hello. And it stays with the chart. And then I'm going to select this cursor so that I can delete that. And then there's anchored text. So that seems like it's the same, but it's not. So after I've typed, I'm going to click someplace else to deselect it and watch. Now when I move the chart, it doesn't go anywhere. That's anchored text. So I'll delete that. Then we have notes, callouts, and comments, which are all essentially the same thing. They just have different styles. Notes, callouts, click outside, and comments. So let's get rid of those. And then we have price labels and price notes. So if you wanted to keep track of, let's see, that's in here in our annotation tools. So let's say we want a price note. What is that price? We click where the price is, and then we can move it to where we want the label to show up. And then the same thing with the price label. We click where it is, and then it'll just automatically pop up there. But effectively the same thing, just different styles. Now, other than that, that's pretty much what I use the most. A lot of the other features, there is a ton of stuff in there, but for the most part, those are the most important ones. And one more time, the trend line that you'll find in trendline tools, and the rectangle, which you'll find in geometric shapes, are, to me, the most important. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to put it inside of the comments. And if you are interested in, or if this was of use to you, send me or give me a like, share, or subscribe. And I think that is about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. And also be doing a series with a logged-in version covering a bunch of other features in TradingView coming up pretty soon. All right, take care.